Well, hello everybody. I am Louise Eddington, the Cosmic Owl of Cosmic Owl Astrology. And before I start talking about COVID and USA, I want to ask if you could subscribe to my video if you enjoy my work, and maybe like the video because YouTube likes all these algorithms, and also hit the little bell so you get notified when I upload new content. I wanted to talk about COVID-19 because I have been saying that we're going to get a resurgence in um, June. And I didn't know, some people are calling it the second wave. I see it more as a rippling out of the first wave. New York has got a handle on it now, and cases are on the downward there, but it's increasing in states further out. So it doesn't matter whether it's a first wave or second wave. It's on the increase in a lot of places. Well, it doesn't surprise me. A lot of people have been assuming it would act like the flu and go away in the summer and come back in the fall. A lot of the scientists have said that even. And, I'm not a scientist, but astrologically, I've been thinking, no, I don't think so. So I want to take you back to March. Okay, on March the 8th. Well, let's go back even further than that. Most people agree that the Saturn-Pluto conjunction with Ceres as well on January the 12th kind of was the kicker for the virus globally. And then we had a Pluto-Eris exact square, the first of 5, on January the 26th. And of course, the USA is going through its Pluto return. It's going to be exact in 2022. So the USA is very much affected by anything that's connected with Pluto right now. But on March the 8th-ish, we had the Sun conjunct Neptune and Venus conjunct Uranus. And that's really when it started to fly in the USA. I remember we flew to Spain on March the 11th. Long story. Some people will go, shouldn't have gone, but long story connected with family and blah, blah, blah. And 4 hours into the flight, the president announced the travel ban as we were midair. So we got to the other end as the virus was exploding in Spain, and we cut our trip short. We spent 3 days hidden in the mountains at my mother-in-law's and flew home, which was all a bit stressful and tense. But hey, at least we got to see my in-laws. And on that day, but on March the 8th, these two conjunctions were happening. And I have to thank Erin Sullivan for pointing that out, because she did. But I want to look at it with the USA's chart. So this little conjunction here, Venus and Uranus, would have been aspecting the Jupiter and Venus in the USA. So I want you to remember that, okay, when we look at things now. Also, the North Node was on the Jupiter of the USA. So things started to expand here. Now come to the the Sun-Neptune conjunction in the third house, which is Gemini, which is air and breathing, okay? And this conjunction was opposing the Neptune of the USA, and pretty much is still. We'll look at that in a minute. And also in square to the USA's Mars in Gemini. So it's kind of all stacking up to be a bit of a perfect storm. There's lots of other things I could talk about, but these are the kind of main hits to the USA chart, other than the Pluto Eris square by transit. Obviously, I've mentioned the Pluto return, but square to Eris, which is pretty much still in orb because it being activated by other transits. is on the USA's Chiron, the wound or the potential for healing. So not only is this bringing all this social unrest and trouble in the USA, it also seems like a perfect storm for the USA virus-wise. Now, I haven't looked at other countries' charts, to be fair, because I live here. But let's have a look at what's happening now. So I've kind of set the scene for what happened in March. It was March the 11th when the president made the travel ban, and it really started to take off in the USA. So, and now here we have a resurgence. So here we are now, June the 11th. In 3 days' time, we have the second of 5 Pluto Eris squares. So that's, I was like looking at that thinking, oh, we're going to have a resurgence. And just so you know, so to get an idea, in December on the 10th, we have a third exact square at 23 Capricorn and Aries. And then next year, August the 27th and October the 8th, 2021, we have 2 more exact squares at 24 degrees Pluto, Capricorn and Aries. And like I say, it's causing all of it in the USA, really, to my mind, all the unrest and the COVID as well, because it's all connected. And interestingly as well, the stock market's just dived by 5.5% today. The the Dow Jones, as this exact square perfects. All right. Other things that we see going on now. Remember, I said the Uranus Venus conjunction on March the 8th aspected the Venus. Well, I'll come back to that in a minute because everything's going to start piling up over there. Okay. But right now we've also got, and I said the Sun-Neptune conjunction opposed the Neptune and squared Mars. Well, guess where the Sun is today? Sitting on Mars in Gemini. Breathing, airborne. All that kind of stuff. Incidentally, this is also connected with the Twin Cities, with all the George Floyd stuff too. And it's in square to Neptune. The Sun is in square to Neptune, was earlier this morning. And look what's coming up here as well. Look at this perfect storm. And incidentally, Neptune in Virgo. Virgo is very much associated with health as well. Gemini and Virgo are Mercury ruled. Mercury is sitting on the USA's Sun today and is going to go retrograde. Oh my goodness, so many things going on June the 18th. So all of this is coming together. So let me take you forward a couple of days. But I think it's kind of been activated now by the Sun-Neptune square and Mars coming up to conjunct Neptune on Saturday. All right. And it's all opposing this Neptune. It's all on the Mars. Then the Sun is being activated also. Then we also have eclipses coming up. I kind of think not only are we in for this political turbulence and unrest, we are in for a big increase in COVID. And I'd just rather warn you so that you can look after yourself, wash your hands, wear your mask, stay safe, take your own precautions. I don't want to give an opinion, except that we probably really do have to learn to live with it a little bit, because I don't think it's going to go away until the end of next year completely. But I do think this is going to be a big time for the USA. Now, I want to kind of look a little bit forward because we have an eclipse on June the 21st. All right. And so this starts to activate. Sorry, it will be at 0 It starts to activate the USA's Venus and the USA's Jupiter, and expansion of all that's going on, and it's kind of carrying it through. But at the same time, Venus is slowing down to station direct at 5 degrees of Gemini, airborne, all that, in semi-sextile to Jupiter in Cancer. Okay. Meanwhile, Neptune is still hovering over here, and Neptune is going to slow down and go retrograde as well. So we've got all that. And in the same time, Jupiter is retrograding to Pluto to expand this Jupiter-Pluto square. I really kind of think we're in for a time of it personally, in the USA. And interesting times, and it is what it is. And of course, some of it will ripple out globally. So for those of you that are not in the USA, listen. Look, Mercury by June the 24th will be back on the USA's Sun. Okay, and the Sun will be on this Venus that was aspected. I'm going to take you forward a little bit more. Neptune, by the way, goes retrograde on June the 23rd, so I missed that, but it's going retrograde, starting, opposing that, squaring that Mars. We may, after the eclipse, and eclipse seasons are also just intense and crazy. So, as Venus goes forward, sorry, I missed the next eclipse. Eclipse is going to be on the USA's Sun as well. The last eclipse on July the 4th. And at that point, Venus is coming up to conjunct the USA's Uranus. And if you remember, we started back in March the 8th with Venus and Uranus conjunct by transit, and in a semi-sextile to that Uranus too. So I see these patterns, I see these degrees activated over and over again and being taken forward. Clearly the Pluto Eris square is a major thing, and the Pluto return, that's really active already. When Jupiter hits Pluto, that will be on, sorry, I've got all my notes here. Jupiter will square Eris on June the 26th and conjunct Pluto on June the 29th. And so I think at least for the rest of June, we're kind of in this big surge of unrest in all kinds. But COVID particularly is going to increase, and stay safe. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the little bell, hit like, and I hope you enjoy my videos. Thanks so much. Have a great day. Peace.